Hello once again, YouTube. It is I'm back, and this time it is not a Toronto Maple Leafs update or gameplay footage from something or other, but I've completed a lot of things lately. It's been crazy with Christmas and everything, and but all the free time I've managed to get along the way, I've tried to do stuff and get stuff accomplished, and it just turns out this is one of those periods where I've actually defeated a lot of games, coincidentally, all in a row. So without further ado, the first one, Sonic Lost World for the Nintendo Wii U. Newer Sonic games, I always feel the need to get them, and often find myself disappointed to a certain degree with them. The two I played most recently before this were both on the regular Wii, the Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic and the Lost Rings or something like that, and they were neat and stuff and fun to play, but the controls were so bad on them that it just ruined the whole game. So I'm often very cautious when buying new Sonic games, and also those ones were visually very different from Sonic's roots and stuff like that, which I think Sonic games were so popular back then because they were so fast and so simple, but so awesome and so fun. This game gets more back towards that. The visuals are a lot more like the original games, only better and more updated, more modern. And the story is really good too. It's Sonic and Tails are after Dr. Robotnik because he's taken more animals to turn into robots, and Tails' plane gets shot down, and they land on this planet called the Lost Hex, where this group of 6 villains called the Deadly Six are lying in wait, and they've been recruited by Dr. Robotnik, and they're under his control, and they're going to help him destroy Sonic and Tails once and for all, or convert them into robots for his army. During the adventure, though, Sonic destroys the mechanism that Dr. Robotnik uses to control the Deadly Six, and they break off control from him and go about their own schemes, and so we see Dr. Robotnik and Sonic team up for the first time. Of course, it doesn't last, but it's fun while it lasts, and it's up to Sonic to defeat this Deadly Six, the group of the Deadly Six, and then Robotnik in the end, and save both him and Tails and their world. So, fun game. Like I said, looks visually great, super fun to play. Control issues to a minor degree, just enough so that you don't bother shooting to get all the extra collectibles in every level, because you won't have a chance, because you simply won't be able to do it. But otherwise, an excellent game. Next one was an oldie I got on eBay for the original PlayStation, the PS1. The very first in the NHL Faceoff series, which is actually a Sony-made game. Excuse me. They, of course, I'm loyal to like Electronic Arts NHL Hockey as my favorite hockey franchise. It started on the Genesis back in 1992 or whatever it was, and they've issued a game every year since, and they're always fantastic. If I had to pick a second favorite hockey franchise based on playing just this game and NHL Faceoff 2003, which I completed a while back, I would have to say this is my second favorite franchise. The gameplay is very fast, but very easy, and even in EA Sports, you can run the score up and defeat teams easily, and although it's still fun, it's kind of like it's not very realistic. This game is super realistic. There's almost every game out of an 82 game season is close. It's the last 3 games I played on that, for example, all went to overtime, and I won 3-2 in every case. Like, it's always close. Sometimes you get 0-0 ties, so it's very competitive in that degree, and also for the time, the graphics are great, and it's got all the NHL teams, all the players, and a bunch of different game modes that were common around that time. So I'd say that game's easily a 10 out of 10, and we'll see where like I said, I've played 2003 recently, but I'm going to kind of go in order now and see how the whole series evolves, so you'll be seeing more NHL Face-Off games. Next up, another classic franchise, Guitar Hero, this time the Aerosmith edition. Guitar Hero, when it came out, I was obsessed. I did it on Expert all the time, and although I'd never gained any perfect scores on expert, there wasn't a song that I couldn't at least survive and get through the end to. I got really good at it a number of years ago. I'm not so good at it as good as I was back then because I'm out of practice. But Guitar Hero is one of those games that it's always fun, you know, and it's not a game they can really make changes to because it's, you know, you hit the notes on the guitar. Like, it's pretty simple. As long as they keep releasing games that include good bands with good songs, it's always going to be fun. And that's just what that was. And the cool thing about this one is that the venues that you play each gig at, it kind of it glosses over Aerosmith's career, from their first gig at a high school, to small clubs, up to stadiums, and then up to the Super Bowl halftime show. And in between each gig, each member of Aerosmith kind of gives little comments and stuff on their journey throughout all these different stages of their career. So it's really fun to see that too. And of course, there's tons of Aerosmith songs in the game. I wish there had been more, to be honest. I wish they'd fleshed it out a bit more. But there's still a good sampling in there, along with a number of other bands' music as well. So, you know, nothing groundbreaking in terms of the Guitar Hero franchise, but just another solid, fun-to-play entry. Next up, a game I spied at EB Games a while back. A more independent game from THQ Nordic called Rad Rogers. It's kind of an ode to the 90s era platformers, the 16-bit magically fun, amazing games that were just so prevalent back then and were so fun. Although it's a new game, they bring back that pixely style, platformer style, and the story behind it is that this kid, Rad, falls asleep playing video games one night, and when he wakes up, he's actually inside of a video game, inside of a digital realm, and his video game console comes alive, and it goes by the name of Dusty, and straps into his backpack and provides certain abilities to Rad as he moves through the game. And he's also got a big blaster, and yeah, he has to save this this forest world from the sickness that has plagued it. The funny thing about it is that it's got a lot of humor, and it's a lot of dirty humor. Like, there's a whole bunch of motherfuckers, and, you know, like, it's just filthy bad language, and from a young kid too makes it even funnier, right? So there is a safe mode you can turn on if you want to have your kids play it or whatever, but yeah, if you go look at some of the gameplay footage from Rad Rogers that I've posted recently, you'll hear the nonsense that he spouts, which is pretty hilarious. It's not a long game, but it's hard, so it feels like a lot longer than it is. But I think it was only $20 brand new, so it's well worth the purchase. And the last one, when I went down to Game Cycle to do some Christmas shopping, I found this drew my attention for the Game Boy Advance. Frogger's Adventures, Temple of the Frog. I love the original Frogger arcade game. It's so much fun. It's so simple, yet so hard and frustrating at times. And so when I saw this, I thought, you know what, that'd be pretty fun. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Now, Game Boy Advance, to me, is my favorite handheld system of all time. Better than the original Game Boy, better than the DS, better than the PSP. The games, for the most part, all seem to be really good. Rarely do you get a dud on the Advance like you do on some of the other systems. And the only downside of the Advance games is that they oftentimes seem to be on the shorter side of things, but I'd rather a short good game than a shitty long one, you know. That's just the way I am, I guess. But as long as they're fun and they're interesting and you love to play them, who cares how long they are. So this game, the story behind it is that Frogger's friend Lumpy comes to him and says, you know, the Council of Elders have told him that this mysterious Mr. D has come to this Firefly Swamp where Frogger and all his friends live and taken the 4 elements from the forest that keeps it alive and in balance. So Frogger has been elected, of course, to go confront this Mr. D and get all the elements back to save the swamp. So you have to go to 4 dangerous areas and face down the enemies in each reclaim the element, and then in the end go confront Mr. D, who uses the power of the elements against you, and you have to turn the tables on him and defeat him and save the swamp. And it's as simple as that. And this was a game on the shorter side, but it was so much fun to play, and it looked great, it played great. It's just another really fun Game Boy Advance to add to the collection, so highly recommend that. And I'm assuming the other Frogger games, I know, I've got one I'm actually playing on the GameCube right now, and I've seen a couple of other ones out there. I'm assuming they're all going to be similarly good, but we will see about that. So so that's it for now. Tonight was all games, but I have a number of other things that I should be reporting on in the next few days as well, that are close to being completed. So you will see me soon enough, either about the Leafs or about some other nonsense I've been up to. So until then, have a great week and a great New Year's.